Hey, everybody, welcome back to Gardens, the Untold Story with hosts Andy Lopez and myself, Ken Somerville. We're reviewing Andy's book today. Don't Panic, It's Organic. And that's what you see in behind Andy there is the picture, front cover of his book. So, Andy, how many books have you actually written? We're going to be reviewing this one, but how many books have you written?
This one is number 22. Now, I have to say something. Okay, so in terms of books published, and I just print in print because see, I have I've only printed 4 books. The rest of the books are up on Amazon and they're like Kindle.
Okay.
Right,
Yeah.
but what I have to do is to go up there, download the book again, and then rewrite it, and then publish it because people want print versions of stuff. But I like the non-print version. My first book was like 150,000 copies. I was paying a penny a day for storage.
Yeah.
Think about that. So 150,000 per penny each. How much is that?
156,000 pennies.
6,000 pennies, and that's $600 or $60 or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So, and that was adding up, and I go, no, that is not. Did you say you've written 22 books? Yes, ma'am. I can tell you the names of them. I can show you on. If you go up to Amazon, you type Invincible Gardener's books, you're going to get a whole list of them, and technically they're all books. And Amazon I can print them out at any time, but I just did mainly Kindles. There are a few of them, like this one here. This one here, every few years, I update the book. Ken asks me, he says, well, do you rewrite, are you going to write a new book? I says, well, as I evolve, as I learn more, this book started out, How to Heal the Earth in Your Spare Time, 1972.
Yeah.
And then 4 or 5 years later, Natural Pest Control Alternatives to Chemicals for the Home and Garden. That book evolved to that. And then maybe 20, 30 years down the road, this book evolved from the and then if you look at the book, you have the cover of the book, right?
Yeah, I have the book right here.
Look what it says in the very front there about Dances with Ants.
Dances with Ants bonus book inside.
Right. So I got a book called Dances with Ants. It's a print version. I decided to put it inside this one. And even now, I'm no longer even following what I teach because I have learned so much about, well, being with you, I teach myself because I'm learning to say, it's the biology, darn it, it's the biology, right? That's what I do now. I stand in the corner with a sign say, it's the biology, walking up and down, it's the biology, right? I mean, it's the biology. It really has to do with just not only soil, but human biology. And I love the concept of earth biology, soil biology, tree biology, water biology. They're all freaking amazing. So my evolution, that's really, by the way, I own the copyright to Don't Panic, It's Organic, just like Invincible Gardener too. What I wanted to do is I wanted to do a screen share so I can show you guys. I almost clicked on Leaf Studio. Wow.
I would go, Andy, what happened?
I don't think I want to do that. So I'm going to do present, right? Click on the present, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to do share screen. Share screen. Let's see. New mail. Which one of these should? Oh, I think I got it. Let's see. Can you see that?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, so this is the title of the book, Don't Panic, It's Organic. My daughter-in-law did the artwork. She did that. So let's go on to so this tells you about Cindy. Cindy did the artwork. That's her name. Pretty cool artist. And then she did all these, by the way. There's the book version. There's 2 versions of it, one in color and one in black and white. Anyway, let's see now. I guess I don't need to see myself. Oh, there you go. I kind of like that. Yeah, so this version here is not available for print. It is a print version, but what happened was I published both of them, the black and white version, which you have, and the print version. Print version is $48 because it costs a lot more to print. So, but people were telling me, Andy, why is your book $300? And I go, what do you mean $300? Well, other people were selling my book for $300 and they said it was worth it. And Amazon said, yeah, third party. So I said, that's ridiculous, $300. So I only make this version available you have to buy it directly from me for $48. And then I have Amazon ship it to you. But my daughter-in-law did the artwork. There's a Don't Panic, It's Organic. So I'm going to go straight to that's me. That was when I was like 20 or something. I said, why did you do that? I guess she liked me when I was playing with. I used to eat those. I love. Never mind. So here's the table of contents, and I don't know if you can see it. Can you? Is it?
No, you'd have to go to your percentage and up it to over 100%.
100%. Zoom. Oh, I got it.
Zoom, yeah.
There you go. Okay, there you go. Let me see if I can get it in the page now. Well, I'll tell you what. I think if I bring it up, can you see it better now?
I can see it. I can't read it though.
You can't read it?
Well, I can't personally on the screen that I'm watching on. So doesn't mean that the people online can't pause it and bring it up larger. Or they can just buy your book and then it's all there.
Okay, so I can see it. For some reason, I can see it and read it on there. Anybody who's on listening or watching, can you tell me if you can see it or not? Or maybe I can. You guys out there, anybody can read that?
Anyway, silly Lily, let us know if you can read that, silly. You got to consider my eyes are bad, so yes, we can see it. Can you read it?
Great, great. Well, you can see my little mouth moving around, So okay, so let me just go over this really fast because there's tons of stuff and information here. I'm also very open to questions as long as it has to do with gardening. I don't want to talk about God and energy and all the things that happen to the universe. So the one of the things, the first chapter is called "No Difference Between Organically Grown Food and Chemically Grown Food."
Actually, that was going to be my first question, Andy. Andy, is explain why you say that.
That is just the title of this report.
Chapter,
of this report that said that there's no difference between organically grown food and chemically grown food. So if you go to the chapter, you read it, you're going to go, this is what these people are saying. So they did a study, and they studied all the different, about 100 different reports. They studied the studies. They didn't make their own study. They studied other people's studies. And they came to the conclusion there's no difference between organically grown food and chemically grown food. And I'm going, what are you talking about there? Serious. And you and I know, and anybody with any brain will go, yeah, there's a big difference between organically grown food and chemically grown food. Big, major difference. I was just watching the YouTube just yesterday about a guy saying, food will heal you. I'm going, oh my God, food will heal you, right? Oh my God, this is incredible. Oh, food. Yeah. Right. So I just put it up there. And so I talk a little bit about it. That basically the studies, none of them are organic farmers. No. I mean, the scientists are like scientists. So they actually study, they like one particular study, which basically said, we took 3 plots. One plot was chemically grown. One plot we didn't do anything to, and one plot was organically grown. And there's no difference. As a matter of fact, the one we didn't do anything to do, which just was as good as the other 2. And so I'm going, many things wrong with that. Many things wrong. First of all, you don't want to have the organic plot next to the chemically grown plot anywhere near it. Yeah. I don't see how you can spray the chemicals and not get everybody else on it. It's even so funny that the if you're an organic farmer, you're now allowed to have your first 4 or 5 rows on the outside of your farm be organic because they're exposed to the chemicals. Only the inner parts are good. I'm going serious. Anyway, this whole thing, it was done by this whole thing is a what's happening is that the forces to be the growers keep passing. I've been doing this for a long time, and every year there's some new study come out. We're all going to starve if we try to grow organic. There's always something going on, and they try to confuse the public even more.
Well, do you see the new thing, Andy, where they're actually saying don't grow your own food? It's not the way to do it. It's harmful to the planet.
You're kidding me.
Shit. No, they're stopping people from growing their own food as much as they possibly can, so that they have to go and be the consumer and buy the chemical.
Wait, is this in Canada? Is this in Canada?
No, this is in the U.S. Okay,
and where did you hear that?
Farmer. Do you remember the Amish farmer that's going up and he's lost? He's going to end up going to the Supreme Court. There's other places in the U.S., other states that are doing basically the same thing.
You're serious?
You're not allowed to grow your own food anymore because it's not.
I like to see him try to do that with me. I like to see him tell you can't grow your own food. I'll say, well, give me. So, what reason are they saying? Because we're not polluting. We're not buying their junk food. What's the reason that we cannot grow our own food? Did you know that? Do you know what the reason is? Did they?
Because it's not healthy for you. You might use something that you shouldn't use, so you can't eat that food. Because you're not a professional farmer, so you might use a chemical or something on your property that would make you sick, and that's why you can't grow your own food. It's stuff like that. But anyway,
go ahead.
I was gonna say we actually have a question from Perpetual. And Perpetual, you had some questions on you put on last week that I never wrote down. So if you remember them, you can put them up for this week. But did you guys read the Jeff Lowenfeld column against using kitchen and household items as pesticides and to stimulate plants? And I saw an old ABC item with Andy on his YouTube channel on the subject, hence the question.
So look, one of my on the natural pest control book, Alternatives to Chemicals for Home Garden, I talk a lot about going shopping in the grocery center. There's a big difference between going shopping in your typical grocery center and going shopping in an organic food market.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that we were talking about just yesterday is that I listened to this doctor, and well, actually, two things. I'll back up. So I have neuropathy, so I went to the doctor, and the doctor says you should not take vitamins and minerals because that's causing the neuropathy. And I was quiet. I didn't say a thing to this guy. Okay.
Yeah.
Because he was partially true. The vitamins and minerals you buy in the store, 99% of them are junk. The ingredients are junk, and you're going to get neuropathy. So it's the same thing. If you were to go to a grocery store and buy all kinds of stuff and use it for pest control, whether it be on your vegetables or you're probably going to kill yourself because the stuff, most of that stuff is toxic. And even though you think, well, I can eat it, it's safe. No, it's toxic because if you eat it, it's killing you. It kills the soil, kills everything. So you have to be real careful in what you use for the pest control things, for doing these things. And so I stick to simple things like coffee. Yeah. Organic coffee. See, organic coffees are very good natural pest control. I like to see them say, you can't. I like to have somebody come to me and say, you can't do that, because I'll take them to court and I'll win.
Yeah, it's just going to take a long time and a lot of money because you're fighting the government. Like Silly Lily's bringing up a point that happened in, I think it was in Maine or in on the eastern coast somewhere, but organic farmers volunteered to take waste from the county and spread it on their land, only to have the same county shut them down because their land was contaminated with the waste. It was something in that waste. So they gave it to them as this wonderful thing to add to their property, and then went, oh, sorry, you have to shut down your farms because this happened to be in it and it's in your soil now, and so you can't grow anymore.
That doesn't totally make a lot of sense, because if they give it to you,
yeah,
they gave it to the farmers. Now the farmers should have said, well, what's in it? Why do you want to give us this, right? What is it you want? What? Because just right here in I was going to say Florida, but in Malibu here in LA County, they have, well, the breakfast cereal, KELLO, right? That guy?
Yeah.
Right. Well, they also have a plant that processes sewer sludge, sewer waste.
Yeah.
Right. And so the city used to sell it as compost, and they used to sell it as sewer sludge, so that nobody would buy it. So then they call it biosolids. People got smart with that; they wouldn't buy it. So now this LA's giving away this junk because nobody's buying it. Hey, it's good compost, and it's not, because it's toxic. So it's an issue that of toxins that we have more and more. And so I don't understand why they want to do that. I do to a certain degree, because we have so much toxic in our environments. Our garage has so much toxics in the garage, toxics. That if you use any of that stuff in your garden, you're dead. You're going to get sick. So I can understand that, but if it's an organic gardener, there's a big difference. So so if they're saying organic gardeners, chemical, no difference, like there's no difference between organically grown food and chemically grown food. So they're saying we're going to ban everybody from growing their own food. So that not makes any sense. They should ban people from growing chemically grown food, from using chemicals. That's what they should ban.
Well, I wish they would test the foods in the stores the same way that they test, say, the cannabis plant, which is the most tested plant in the world. We wouldn't be able to eat any of the food in the freaking stores.
You wouldn't be able to eat any of the food in the stores, or if you tested the vitamins and minerals that they sell right along with all the other stuff, and it's totally ridiculous going into a store and relying, and you think it's safe to buy it, to eat this, and it's not. It's totally not. And you get so much diseases and pests happen to your body, and the same thing with the soil. I mean, it's identical. I think the same people own, the agriculture as they do the medical business, and they both are in the business of confusing you, controlling you. They want you to die slowly while they make money.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what it comes down to. So, and I've been fighting this. So one reason why I'm knowledgeable on this, because you have to be knowledgeable on the food you eat. And if you're going to be knowledgeable on the food you eat, you will have to be knowledgeable in the food you grow. You can't do it. And with me, I go to people's homes and I tell them, you don't have a tree problem, you have a soil problem. In the past, I never really would say you have a soil problem, not until maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, something like that. I would say, okay, you have a mineral problem, you need to feed your plant. And so I would say the organic system is a good system. You'll learn to feed your plant, because your organic system feed the soil. From Mr. Rodale, Organic Gardening Magazine, feed the soil. So it's getting, if this is what's going to, no, you can't grow your food. You have to go to the store and buy it. I don't know. I don't think they could really get away with that.
Well,
there's going to be lots of lawyers. There's going to be lots of lawyers that'll do it for free. Lots of organizations that'll do it for free. Take them to court and say, okay, let's have it. Let's do that and see what happens. Right?
Yeah.
So the next thing I wrote is the Mycelium Intelligence. So when I did that, I read Paul Stamets' book, How Mushrooms Can Save the World.
Yeah.
And one of the things he calls this mycelium, the internet of the soil.
And that's my question. How can this mycelium that is, just like a fungus, how can it be intelligent? You're saying in your book that it's intelligent.
Yeah, and it's the same thing as how can trees be intelligent? How can ants be intelligent? How
Mhm.
can anything else besides human beings be intelligent? And to me, we're not intelligent if we have war, if we kill ourselves, if we cause disease. We're not acting very intelligent. Everything that we've done so far, it's very destructive. Pretty
Yeah.
much, you think about it, it's very destructive. So that's not intelligence. There are in nature, nobody does this. In nature, nobody. The ants don't go out and you have to buy. They don't know money is nothing, not real to them. The same thing with the
No.
trees and birds. They don't go out and kill things. They eat it, but they
Mhm.
don't kill it for fun, right? So there's so much stuff going on with the human race that it's really we're the stupid group here. We're the stupid animals here. You know that the dolphins have more intelligence than we do. Dolphins
Yeah.
have bigger brains and more intelligent than we are. And then the whales, all these creatures, and they can all communicate.
Yeah.
They all communicate, not just within their own little group, but they communicate with each other. That's why I'm really fascinated with structured water, how structured water can transfer data, information to any
Mhm.
living thing that wants it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so to me, the mycelium is the key to communication between species. When I eat psilocybin mushrooms, I get into the brain of the mycelium.
Yeah.
So when you're tripping, you're really looking at through the eyes of the mycelium of this particular being, and the mycelium is not just a local thing. The soil biology is not like here in California, nowhere else, right? The soil biology, the biology is like the whole Earth, right? The
Mhm.
whole Earth has so many different, and because of that, we can the mycelia communicates throughout the world with everything.
Yeah. And there's
Only
no
us
distance.
humans Only us humans are the ones that are not connected to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Only us humans, right? And that's what it's all about, getting back to being connected.
And that's why I'm growing my hair long.
Yeah, man.
Is part of the reason that I'm doing it is that connection through the electromagnetic field that surrounds us, through the energy field. And the longer my hair, the more gold there is. And since that's the most conductive substance we know of, then it stands to reason that I'll be able to connect more and more intelligently and be able to listen. And that's the big one, is not being able necessarily to talk to the tree, but to listen to the tree.
Exactly right. So like this, it's a Solomon. What's the name of the guy that had his hair cut and got weak? Solomon.
Oh, not King Solomon. Oh, geez, and I
Was
was
it
just
Samson?
Samson. Yeah, I think it was Samson. They
Right,
cut
because
his hair and he got weak.
that was the whole thing. They cut his hair and he became weak. Now he became weak,
Yeah.
but he could not connect with all the energies around you. When
Mhm.
my hair is longer, it's actually like Einstein. The whole to me, it's like you can't come anywhere near me because I'm sparkling, and I reach out, and people say, "Stay away from him. This guy is like gonna fry everybody." And so I can't work. If I didn't have a job, I would let my hair grow because I know when it was longer, I can sense more, I communicate more. Now I have to work on it, but you can do that. But with the hair, this and gold is the very very unique, one of the trace minerals that we need.
Yeah.
Very very
Yeah.
cool. Not just we humans, but birds, insects, cows, dogs, you name it. They all use the same uh, a way of transferring energy throughout the body and throughout the
Mhm.
earth. That's what I
Yeah.
think is so cool about it. The neurons, the mycelium also, if you look at it, it looks identical to a galaxy. You're looking at what am I
Yeah.
looking at? A galaxy or mycelium here? And same
Or
thing the brain. You
the
look at
neural
your brain,
network in your brain
right?
basically
You look
looks
at
the
that in
same.
your brain, you see the
Yeah.
network, how galaxies work, and those things are like one of the things about energy. You can tune in to everything.
Mhm.
Everybody can tune into everybody else. All living things. I think because we have the ability to think in a different way than animals do, because animals don't say, therefore I am, right? I think, therefore I am, right? They don't say that. We're the only ones that say, I think, therefore I am. Animals go, therefore I am. I don't have to think about anything, right?
Exactly. I just exist.
Here I am, right? I'm doing my thing.
Yeah.
I don't have to think about the universe. I don't have to think about all this stuff, even though I am part of it.
Yeah.
So the vegetable garden guide is an interesting chapter because, again, people have a really hard time growing their own food, and they think, because it's like, I know different farmers, and I talk to them. What are you doing? I said, well, we're not doing anything. We got a good rich soil. We can keep growing in it forever. And then I said, well, do you know what a refractometer is? No. And here's a refractometer. Let me test your fruit. Well, there's nothing in it. Well, you're not putting anything in it. You're not doing it. A lot of times they think that it's healthy soil. There's no biology in there at all.
Yeah.
That's misleading a lot. You look at it, it's nice and dark. Look at it under a lab. Try to see what. It's very difficult not to have no biologies, because Mother Nature says let's have biology, right? Regardless of what the biology, you're always going to have biology. So that means there's something toxic that they're using in there. And there are lots of things. Nowadays, we're swimming in toxic, literally swimming in toxics.
Yeah.
Toxins everywhere. Toxins in the air we breathe. I have a little device. This is one of my little devices right here. It tells me, warning, don't, when I turn it on, it tells you the particles in the air.
Yeah.
And there are two kinds of particles, one really super small, one even smaller. The really small one goes right through your body, right through your blood, into your brain, right into your brain. You go, oh, this is wonderful, trippy. So anyway, the next chapter is organic fruit tree care, because I cover fruit tree care, natural tree care. Yeah. One of the chapters is called How to Kill a Tree.
Mm-hmm.
And so people say, how dare you say how to kill a tree? But this is, if you look at it, this is what not to do. Exactly. If you don't do these, if you do these things, you're going to kill your tree. See, so I figure that's a cool way to get their attention, so people can right. So people can say, okay, what do you mean? How dare you say cure a tree? Right. Let's see what I wear down watches to the point that it can be fixed. Yeah, I have the same problem with. I've gone through so many different watches. I fry things. Literally, my cell phone. I've gone through several cell phones. I actually have to protect the cell phone from my energy, because a lot of times I would fry them. This computer gets fried quite regularly. Literally, sparks starts flying out and go, okay, I did something wrong.
Okay, so Perpetual's got another couple of questions for you directly. He only remembered one because he had actually put these last week, but you were sick last week, so we didn't have the show. Can one use anaerobic? I'm not even going to try to butcher that word. Anaerobically aged urine or leaf feed, or does it still require soil biology to convert to a nitrite?
Some things are automatically absorbed through the leaves, and I would say, depending on how it was aged, and if it's aged properly, it can be used. However, I would be real careful of using it as food, because you don't want to spray something and then eat it immediately afterwards. You always have to allow it to dissolve completely in there. Therefore, I would probably use it more as a soil soak. Okay. Allow it to go into the soil, let the soil filter it out through the plant.
Or on plants that what the heck they are called, not the non plants that we eat. What's the term I'm looking for?
It's okay, Daddy. It's okay. It's okay.
I know. There's a specific term for plants that you don't eat. And it's right there. I can just, what's that?
Right. So you could use it on hibiscus and other plants and trees and stuff like that, because you're not going to eat it. The only way I would say, if you're healthy, then there's no problem at all. That would be the only question. If you have a disease or an illness or something, that the urine will probably have that in there as well. And if you put it in the food, it would ornamental.
Thank you.
You would take the chance of doing that. It's the same reason why you don't want to be composting your own human manure, unless you really, really know how to heat it up and how to cook it right. Because if you have any of
Yeah.
it left over, you're going to have a problem.
So yeah, you basically what you're saying is you do want to have the biology there to break it down. It's better if you're putting it in the
It's
soil,
better.
not
It's
necessarily as a
better.
foliar.
It's
And
definitely
it's the aging time, right?
right. It's
Yeah,
definitely safer to go through the soil as the filtration system. Let
yeah.
the soil biology filter it out. The soil biology will get rid of any diseases. It won't make it
Mhm.
to the plants, especially if you're going to be eating them. See, if you're
Yeah.
not going to be eating them, there's no problem whatsoever. When I was a kid, I used to spray. I used to spray hibiscus and roses and stuff like that with pee because as a matter of fact, I would go to the farm and get horse pee or whatever pee from any other animal and spray that. I've learned how to control diseases with pee because it's very biologically rich pee. The urine will have maybe 2% urea
Mhm.
in it. The rest of it, the other 98% is a mixture of amazing biology. It's really ridiculous, all the stuff in there, from amino acids to all kinds of stuff. So that's a very good one to spray. And so
Yeah.
I would go through the soil biology if you're going to be eating it. If you're not going to be eating it, I wouldn't worry about it, even though it depends. He didn't say if it was his pee or what, but normally I would only use my pee. I would not use other
Yeah.
people's pee, right? That's just logical, to,
Yeah.
to do
And
that.
like for myself, I wouldn't use mine because I still take some of the pharmaceuticals. So
The good
I would
shit.
never use my own because I know that this is going to be in
The
my
pee.
urine. So I wouldn't do it. But there was a second part of the question here. Oh yeah, second one was how to make leaf spray from Arvenius equesternum or horsetail to strengthen plants.
That's not really super hard. If you have a specific plant that you want to start using it as a spray, so there are a couple of different ways to do it. Here's how I do it, because I've learned that the biology in my worm farm is really very good at breaking things down. So
Mm-hmm.
so I take the worm juice, a little bit of worm juice, and I put it in a 5 gallon of clean filtered water.
Yeah.
Then I would take whatever plant I want to, cut it up as finely as chopped with a scissors. Just cut it up so you want to
Yeah.
expose it just much, and allow it to do its thing, and it will transfer all of that to the liquid, and then you can spray all you want to. You'll find that. So if you just stick it in plain water, you want to make sure that it's filtered out, because the city water has got the stuff that will kill the biology. You're not going to get
Yeah.
very far from that. But if you whatever plant you use, if specifically you learned that certain plants are very good to straighten plant, yeah, you want to have the bio. And what I would do is you let it. So I have a bubbler. You let it bubble overnight,
Mm-hmm.
right? Let it bubble overnight. You want to include in that mixture some type of food that will encourage the worm biology to take off. So a lot of times I would either use Granny Smith molasses. I
Okay.
like Granny Smith because it's organic and it's a heavy source of nitrogen. I mean, iron. So, and then you only need a tiny little bit, but you can also use any other different type of natural sources of sugar to uh, help it ferment a little bit. A dash of vinegar was always good. It's the same thing, organic, and then
Mm-hmm.
that will encourage the biology to take over, and it will
Yeah.
absorb that plant, and then
I
you'll be able to give it back.
do have a question, and I don't think that you or I can answer this. It would take somebody at a higher pay grade than us. But it, we talk about using molasses, and then there's other types or sugars or starches that can be used. Do you know which ones promote a fungal growth compared to a bacterial growth? I know molasses is supposed to be more bacterial. Has anybody ever tried honey? Have you ever tried honey as the sugar source in your tea?
Well, honey has a natural antibiotic properties
Mhm.
to it.
Yeah.
See, so including that in the tea will kind of hamper the biology a little bit. in my opinion, as opposed to molasses or any other type of sugar sources. A lot of times you can even take just plain white sugar and learn how to use it. Even though I would rather not, but you can there's so many different sources of sugar that you can use. And the only way to tell is to do it and see if you can determine if the biology has changed in the liquid. Because there are two different types. Otherwise, you normally use honey to control diseases, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the property of honey. I don't know too much about other forms of sugar because there are many different types of sugars,
Yeah.
Fructose and all that kind of stuff. I do know that in terms of me eating sugars, I stay away from as much sugar as secondary added sugar. Stay away from heavily processed products that make sugar. Wheat dust, bread can be converted in your stomach to sugar, but I don't think it will be converted in the liquid. You can't put bread in there and make a tea out of it and expect it to work.
Yeah, you can put the starch, and that's why, like, you look at the Jadam, and their liquid nutrients or liquid fertilizer. He uses a baked potato, and he's using that as the starch or the sugar.
That's
Now,
the starch.
honey, it's naturally beneficial, to get rid of disease, etc. But there's so much good biology in the honey, and it only blocks the bad biology. I'm just, I just not sure, but somebody was pointing out that Luna has switched over to polysaccharides. So just a more specific form of the sugar, I believe.
Yeah,
Like
there's a whole science to that.
Yeah.
Like you said, we need somebody with a higher pay grade. That a doctor can tell you pretty much about your body, but he may not be able to help you in terms of what sugars for the plants. Even though plants, they need sugars for processing. I learned that photosynthesis that makes sugar, and one way to help plants is to give them something with the sugars in it already. When I do that, I tend to give them sugar that are plant-based, as opposed to sugars that are man-made. Lots of sugars are man-made; they're not even real, so that doesn't work. But I a lot of times I would buy, like, a friend of mine said he was buying corn syrup, but it was a chemical version of the corn syrup, so that you have that chemical sugar fructose thing. That's not good.
No, not at all.
No, so you're going to have to learn. So, in my opinion, it's okay to give sugar as long as the sugar comes from an organic, natural source. That's what I would say. That's what I would say. You just have to learn to have the right biology there with it, because not all biology will take the sugar and work with it. Some of the biology will not be open to that. So I've learned that
like with the bugs, right? Because some of the bugs like the short chain sugars, where the longer chain sugars they can't consume. So are we better off, do you think, to give more of the short chain and let the biology in the plant create the long chain, or are we better off to start with the longer chain already built for the plant? Any ideas on that one?
I would start off
in my head.
I would start off with if you know the difference and you know how to figure out which is a long chain, which is short. I would start with a long chain, because it will also have more trace minerals in it. Naturally, it will come with more trace minerals, and that's what you want. Because that's the natural process of doing that. That's why I like, in my history of doing stuff, I ended up with Granny Smith molasses.
Yeah,
that's what I ended up with. Because I did not like buying honey. I would say, shoot, I'm going to use the honey myself. Basically,
I'm going to eat it. Yeah.
Right. I'm going to use the honey myself. I'm not going to give it to these plants. But I ran into a farmer once who was using molasses, and it wasn't organic. I said, well, that's not good. But I like the molasses because the molasses is naturally richer in trace minerals than most any other sources of sugar you can run into. So again, I mentioned Granny Smith a lot because I know that they're organic and they have rich in iron. But there are lots of molasses now for agricultural purposes. See, sometimes they're made from cane sugar.
Yeah.
Again, it's if they're organically grown and they won't. One of the problems with chemically grown is that they will take on the chemicals.
Yeah.
So when you're doing the sugar, you're introducing the chemicals which will inhibit the biology, actually kill the biology. It's just as long as you remember the city water kills the biology. Otherwise, you got this water that is not going to make the biology for you because the body's going to die. Because that's what the city water does. It kills anything that's alive.
I got to bring this up, buddy. I got to pour some sugar on me, which is a good song. That's what the biology is asking for. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's really cool. Did Silly say that? Is that something Silly said? Who said that? Hello.
Okay. I know. I've got the peanut gallery over here telling me I got to put up her comment. Okay. I used the wholesale brand organic molasses, unsulfured, 32 ounce or 944 milliliters. Will last a while for garden use. I like it in my diet as well. And then the other one, blackstrap molasses, rich in magnesium, copper, iron, calcium, potassium, manganese, selenium, and B6.
Yes. So the molasses is the type to use because they really are the plant really takes in the minerals, really sucks in the minerals. Very good at creating sugar, and that sugar happens that molasses happens to be very good for us. If it's good for us, it's good for the biology. Yeah. That's what.
And that's where your Brix levels comes in, and why you use a refractometer.
Right, exactly right. Because the higher the Brix level, the higher the sugar level, and so you don't really want to have. So one of the things about the refractometer is very confusing. So you have this high fructose corn syrup. That's going to raise your Brix level because it's really high. It's a concentrated sugar. Doesn't mean there's any minerals in it at all.
Yeah.
Right. So when you look at a refractometer, you could actually cheat if you're using something that's really super high concentrated sugar. You think, oh, look at this, but it's not. So it's a very confusing process. So I also so the next thing was making the organic transition. It was a big deal for people in terms of how to go from being totally chemical to totally organic. And I'm going to read. I'm actually looking. I've been looking at it, and I said, okay, well, I have to revise it again because one of the things I did not really go into heavily is how to reactivate the biology in the soil. So I go into compost. Right, applying compost. That's the way you are reactivated. But nowadays, I'm actually doing compost along with the worm farming, along with these other things, which actually increases the biology even more. Because that's what you want to do. And the transition process basically is for you to say, well, I'm going to use this. Well, maybe I should use that instead. So it's like if you eat junk food and you want to switch over to natural food, it's going to take you a little while to do that. The same thing with the soil. One of the things that people, it's really weird because if you're a chemical user, you've been using growing chemicals all your life in the farm, they say we'll give you 3 years of not using chemicals and you could be a certified organic.
Yeah,
and it's like and they don't even say, well, you need to clean it out. We're going to test it at the end of 3 years and see what you got in there. They don't do that. No, they figure 3 years, okay, that's long enough to clean up the soil. Everything's fine, and it's not.
Oh, hell no!
And that is a biggie right there because I think 10 years is not even enough either. But you
can do it in a few months if you know what the hell you're doing.
Exactly right.
Very few people do.
Exactly right. Because you can speed up the process very easily by introducing more roots in the ground, introducing more biology, and you find. And you just have to step back, get out of the way. Stop with the city water killing the biology. You're not going to get anywhere with that. That's one of the things I got to put on the making transition. Stop with the city water already, because I already said stop with the chemicals, but I never really said stop with the city water. What are you doing with the city water? So that's part of the transition period. And you drink that water too. The water that we're drinking from plastic bottles. You kidding me? And we have never even talked about this, but microbeads in the soil is very bad. Biology do that, but we had touched upon it. The biology. I was thinking about this. Yeah, if you increase the biology to a certain point, they'll go right through that plastic.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't actually take that long for the
No, it doesn't.
biology to, as long as
No, it
there's
doesn't.
enough, it's still having enough of the workforce, that bottle's gone in a very short amount of time.
Right. I'm getting more and more because when you had mentioned that to me, I said, you're right, because about it did that for a long, long time, and the only reason why there's less and less biology now is because it's more and more toxic, and the toxic is faster. And they're not increasing the biology; they're just increasing the toxic. So that's that's a problem. So that's one of the things that we have to teach people is that you have to two things. One, increase the biology in the soil, increase the biology in your body.
Yeah.
The biology in your body is just as important as the biology in the soil. And you cannot have a good biology in your stomach if you don't have, if there's no really good, because a lot of times most people are not farmers. They go to the store and they buy the stuff. And if you actually follow it's called from cradle to cradle. You actually figure out who the farmer is. Go see the farmer. What are you doing to your soil? One way you tell is just, hey, let's do a refractometer reading. And so I've learned that a lot of times chemical farmers will have a really ridiculously high reading, Brix reading, but you find that what they're using is high urea, and urea will also give you a false reading, but it's not minerals. So you also have to really test your soil for minerals, because that's why we had that person out for the soil lab, aluminum soil lab. They test the biology as well, and they tell you that, because before most labs will say you need these minerals, you buy 10 pounds of this, 10 pounds of that. No, it doesn't say a thing about maybe you should concentrate on your biology, right?
Well, it's telling you, you're deficient in these things in your soil, not telling you that, if in order for the plants to actually use what you're putting on, you need the biology there to break it down to make a plant available. They kind of forget that little piece for some reason.
Right, and I think that doctors don't understand. Like this doctor says, stop taking vitamins and minerals. That's causing your neuropathy. And I was silent. I wasn't gonna argue with this guy, because he was pretty sure he was right. And he's correct. The stuff you buy in the store is junk.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Literally junk. And it's anything, the food you buy in the store is literally junk.
Well, until you actually have your soil doing what it needs to do, being alive and having a plant that's actually got nutrition in it, there's no way for you to get that. That's where people do take the supplements, etc. The hardest thing is to get that biology back. Like, I know myself, I use worm castings that I've created, dry it out, put it in a gel cap, and eat it to get that biology back into my gut. But there's also medical grade compost. And actually, Leighton has mentioned this on a few different occasions, that basically has all the different biology in it that our bellies need. But type it in to a search, and you're not likely to find any of it anywhere close to you.
Well, that is interesting. Medical grade compost. That basically means it's for human consumption. That's what it needs.
Exactly.
I'd love to know more about that. I'll give you an example. So I had a food allergy after I had my dental work done. My stomach biology got destroyed. 4 atomic bombs went in the stomach. They said, take this antibiotic, which just blew up my stomach. Okay. Literally just killed everything in there. And so I was having a hard time, and I have not been able to have my own garden until here. Yeah. And now that the first thing when I eat, I don't wash it. I nibble, I pull out and eat it. So I'm actually eating the soil biology. And this is fresh. The soil biology is not entirely happening there, but what I'm using my worm compost, put it in the soil, and it's growing in that. And these are the first plants growing. But the soil biology is what I'm eating, and I no longer have the allergy. My stomach says, hey, right? It's really super wonderful. I eat arugula, I eat whatever, and I have carrots, beets. Beets grow in 4 or 5 days. Poosh, beets.
Yeah.
So I love the idea of medical grade compost. I gotta give them a call and say, man, I want the medical grade compost. You know what will happen is that they'll ban that. You can't take medical grade compost because it works.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like,
Well, see, Leighton had brought it to a friend of his that was in upper levels of a hospital, and the guy said, "Oh yeah, this is fantastic." And then they sat on it, they sat on it, and they sat on it until Leighton finally said, "Well, what the hell's going on? You wanted this stuff. Oh well, we can't figure out a way of how to make money from it. So yeah, we're not going to promote it." Yeah,
yeah,
we want people to be
do with
sick so
money.
we can make money.
That's all about money. That's what it is. Same thing with. So I think the same people are involved with medicine as they are with agriculture. It's all
Yeah,
about making money.
yeah,
It's not about curing the problem. It's all about continuing the problem. Take this on a regular basis. We're not going
yeah,
to solve your
yeah.
problem. You cannot solve your problem. You got to take this. And this is actually part of the problem that's causing the problem.
Well, because doctors aren't trained on how to find the actual problem. They're just trained on how to fight the symptoms of the problem, not actually track it down, get rid of the problem itself.
Right, and they have no idea there's more and more doctors are really cool about the biome. They understand that that's really your real brain.
Yeah,
And but they're not like the major what everybody's saying. They're on the fringes somewhere. You have to find them, and then the doctor will say, "Well, stop eating this junk food here," because that's what it's all about. We're giving junk food to plants.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We're giving them McDonald's every day with this NPK. At least Leighton is convincing people that they need to look at CNPK, or the not calcium, carbon, and that in that way, by bringing that in and having people understand that part of the equation, he can move them to the next part, which is more of the organic mindset, going into the right direction.
Carbon is so important. I've been doing a lot with biochar, and we're going to have a little show on that. As a matter of fact, I have a friend. He teaches people how to do biochar. He uses the bamboo vinegar, which is really, really amazing stuff. Supercharges the biology, and the carbon is really the key to it, because that's what Mother Nature does. That's how Mother Nature and the biology work together, utilizing this biochar. Is absolutely amazing, because carbon, you have carbon dioxide in the air. You would figure out Mother Nature, let's make carbon out of it. Let's use that. You see, so on one level, it's really good for plants to have more carbon dioxide in the air, not for us humans so much, but if the biology is there, they convert that into oxygen.
Yeah.
See,
well, and like we were talking a little bit on the show on Monday about quorum sensing. I don't know if you're familiar with that term at all, but it's where the biology gets together and can create things that aren't actually available in the soil structure, say boron, but they're creating the biology. But they need that to have quorum sensing. They need a place to live to gather all that information, like the halls of Alexandria. That's your biochar. That's a long-term aggregate in your soil that has created that. But biochar, the carbon in biochar never gets used.
No, it doesn't.
It's just basically a house or the university for the
university.
biology.
It's the university, exactly right. When I go to the ocean, I was there just a couple of days ago. I was picking up bamboo. I found all these really charred pieces of things floating around. They're like charcoal, but big giant pieces. I brought them home. What I do is I bury them. I bury them in the garden. I bury them in the garden because I find that the microbes really, really like that. And so when I do tree treatments for people, I have tree treatments. I put the piece of biochar in there, and the finely ground up is it's just as good as the big chunks. The big chunks are just as good.
Yeah. Now you got to consider that charcoal or biochar in nature is a fire goes through, and what's left ends up in the soil, and then it's filled up with the biology. Until it's filled up with the biology, it's just charcoal. once you add the biology, then you create the biochar. I think a lot of people don't really understand biochar, where it came from, how it was used, because it's coming out of the Amazon, out of Terra Preta is where they found this biochar. I think there's a lot of aspects that people are really missing on why that was there in the spots that it was. But we can go down that rabbit hole when we do a show on biochar. I know I studied biochar for 5 or 6 years, tracing down, stories from the Amazon, from the first discoveries. There's a lot more to it than what people are led to believe. And some is true of what people are saying, and some is like totally out to lunch for what people are saying.
So for me, I always learned that when the Mother Nature, when she has a fire, she's really just recharging everything.
Yeah.
That's what I learned. And it's a big difference between biochar and ashes.
Oh, the ashes is nothing. There's no molecular weight to ash.
No,
right?
none whatsoever. It's matter of fact, destroys the biology, and it's toxic, especially if you have these things that are burning. Like when we had the fires here in Malibu, lots of people's houses burned. They're toxic. They're so toxic you can't come anywhere near it. Whether it has cadmium, mercury, lead. I mean, there's so much toxins in people's houses already, in the garage, in the structure that where it was made from, that it's amazing that Mother Nature said, okay, I've had enough. Get everybody off the planet now. But some of this stuff, I tell people, we're not damaging the earth, we're damaging ourselves. The earth will be around long after we're here and gone. I don't think we're going to have enough time to do the whole book.
No, not at all.
Do you have any more questions? Anybody got any questions?
What are the 7 R's? Mulch, what to use, what to not use, living mulch versus dead mulch.
Okay, wait, 7 R's. 7 R's. So you know the 3 R's?
The 3 R's: regenerate, reduction, reuse.
Reduce, rethink, recycle.
Okay, recycle.
So it's reduce, reuse, recycle. So I added 2 more: rethink and replant.
Mm-hmm.
I think
that's only 5, man. You got 7. Okay, 7.
Yeah, I know.
You're only telling me 5 here.
I gotta look what the 7 are. Because I know it's reuse, recycle, replant, rethink. I don't know what the other 2 R's are. I don't know.
Gotcha.
Open up the book. You got a book there. Just tell me what the 7 R's are, man. You open it up.
I have to try to find it. Like you're I can see you scrolling through stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to it, but I can't. I don't have a way to go to that chapter. Because I know it's reuse, reduce, or recycle. Those are the 3. And I know that I added rethink, replant. But rethink kind of takes over everything, because you have to think about what you're doing to the environment, what you're doing to yourself, and replant is very important, because I want to get more biology into the ground growing. So the other 2, I have no idea what they are. Because
reduce, reuse, recycle, rethink, replant, resist, and refuse.
Okay, so I resist and refuse, right?
Yeah.
So resist the urge to use more, to be a moron. Resist the urge, right, to use chemicals, and refuse. Refuse and resist are the same.
Yeah. Refuse to do what you know is not right.
Yeah. So you just have to say, no, that's not right. That's not right. This whole process of using more and more chemicals is just going to kill our biology, and to the point where people are not going to be able to survive on the planet, because the biology won't be very friendly to us anymore. I think that's what will happen. If we're the cancer, Mother Nature will get rid of the cancer. There's going to be some creature come out of the earth and nibble us, and we'll be gone.
There
So
already
guys,
are. It's called the biology.
that's it for today. I know I got a lot of information for you here. I think I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing the screen. There you go.
Okay, and
So,
guys, if you want Andy's book, you can get it from his website, right?
yeah, you go to my website. You hit the store button. Don't go to Amazon and look for it because you're going to find lots of other people selling. Don't panic, it's organic. It's not me. But if you go to my website, click on the book, it takes you right to the Amazon page. Visible Gardener. Don't panic, it's organic. That would be the book. I do know that I have to update everything on a regular basis because I'm always repair, reuse, rethink, regift. Oh, Lily added her own things to it. Regift. I like that. Regift and repair. There's lots of R's. It could be like hundreds of R's, right? We'll pick it up. Do you ship to Sweden? Yeah, Amazon ship worldwide. Amazon, that's what's so cool about it. If you order it, they'll ship it to you anywhere on the planet.
And the thing is, Casper, maybe you should send Andy an email saying that you want it, buy it direct, and maybe he'd even sign it for you. Just saying, you never know.
Yeah, because the only thing is I would have to ship it to Sweden.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Okay. So
I don't sell it direct. I don't sell it direct for that very same reason, but it's $1,000 for my signature.
Oh yeah, sure. Mine's 10 grand. Okay. Get over the gusto.
I don't know what we're talking about next week. Do you?
Whatever we decide to, and I'm still trying to get Troy Hinkie to come on and talk worms with us. He's been sick, so hopefully we can get him feeling a little bit better, and he can come on. We can do a show on worms and what you're doing with your worm farm, Andy, and how you're running the moisture through to get the leachate or the moisture out to use in your super seaweed and on your plants. But I think
it's really cool. I got some really cool videos. I think what we'll do next time, if we haven't anything planned yet, we do, but I like to show you some of the videos of my worm farm and my garden and that kind of stuff, So now I know how to share the screen. I can actually show what I'm doing is because I have a Mac, everything's shot there. I finally figured out Dropbox. I can use Dropbox to transfer stuff over to the PC to use it.
Oh, okay.
I was trying to figure, remember plug it in, do this stuff. No, it's Dropbox. You just drop it in the box and then move it over. So we'll see you guys next week.
Okay, guys. We have should have Josh from BioEgg back on Monday. He's kind of filling in as a host on Mondays with John and myself, especially with John's being on choruses. Then, of course, we have Tom Landry, who's using Layton's Horizontal Soil System, coming on Monday. He's got some new beds that he's built, so we're going to get an update from Tom Landry on Monday on how things are going in his commercial growing with Layton's Horizontal Soil System. So those are the next shows, guys.
Great. Take care.
Peace out, everybody.
Peace out. Put down that nice music, man.